When you've got enough money to build a moon-sized, planet-destroying space station, well, you can clone an army of millions of soldiers using just the loose change you find in a sofa. For those of us who aren't quite as well funded, UB Robotics has thrown some Stormtrooper armor on one of its 16-inch tall humanoid robots, so you can build a slightly more affordable robotic army. I wouldn't recommend placing an order for hundreds of AT-ATs or Star Destroyers just yet, but the tiny self-balancing bot includes a Century mode, so you can use a free accompanying app on a mobile device to set up a designated area for your trooper to patrol and monitor for invaders. And because augmented reality is the buzzword of the day, the free app can also be used with a smartphone or tablet to place the robot into interactive experiences. The robotic Stormtrooper even responds to basic voice commands and can remember and react differently to up to 3 different faces. Using biometric identification, this bot is absolutely awesome. But to ensure interactions and IDs don't fall into the hands of the rebels, UB keeps this robot offline and doesn't actually share anything to the cloud to avoid a seemingly inevitable hack. UB has shown that kid-friendly robots don't have to only roll around on the ground. It won't be a cheap future, however. UB Star Wars First Order Stormtrooper robot includes a $383 price tag. So like a young Anakin, well, you might just want to build your own droid and save a few bucks. Robots are learning new tricks all the time, and these tricks are especially useful when you're talking about disaster response. The disaster response team of the future is going to be all robot, and what that robot is capable of could determine your life or death. Honda has unveiled a working prototype of its E2DR disaster response robot, and it is very capable already. It stands at 1.68 meters high, it weighs 85 kilograms. The E3DR can walk and navigate over objects, climb stairs, and even climb ladders, and get through narrow spaces, even traverse piles of debris like a bot on a mission. This robot can even stand being in the rain for up to 20 minutes at a time. To keep it as lightweight as possible, Honda exchanged traditional cables for optical fibers. It also has a 1,000 watt-hour lithium-ion battery that delivers 90 minutes of power to the droid, an Intel Core i7 CPU, air ducts, and an internal fan in the torso to keep everything nice and cool. The hands have cameras and 3D sensors in them as well. It won't be long before we are sending robots in to rescue people after a disaster. One day, you may owe your life to a robot. We've seen telerobotics work. In fact, we showcased it on last week's show, but solutions are quite expensive. Similar to how the US Navy just opted to ditch its expensive joysticks for Xbox controllers, researchers are now thinking about consumer-tested solutions. Scientists at MIT CSEL have developed a system that uses off-the-shelf gaming and VR technology that both drives down the price while situating the user in a more organically designed interface. Plus, it pretty much lets users control a robot from the inside of a simulated virtual cockpit. Our human bodies are operated by tiny versions of ourselves in cranial control centers. Likewise, MIT CSEL sets users in a VR headset and places them in a virtual control room for a robot. Think of it as the movie Inside Out, but instead of controlling a human, it's a robot, and instead of being a cartoon, you're in VR. The researchers designed the setup with manufacturing applications in mind. If a bot on the assembly line was having trouble, well, then a supervisor simply could don a headset and virtually dip into the robot for a hands-on fix. Or more broadly, for the ultimate work-from-home experience. As the team's paper summarized, teleoperation robotic systems will allow humans to work at scales and in environments which they cannot accomplish today. Barriers to working such as physical health, location, and even security clearance could be reduced by decoupling physicality from the actual tasks themselves. And finally, happening in this week's this thing. It's the Kubo tail therapy robot. This is essentially a cushion with a realistic cat tail that reacts to stroking and patting so that it's able to comfort its owner like a real pet would simply through tail wagging. To make it more lifelike, Kubo also wags its tail randomly when it's left alone for too long. The stroking detection is mostly done with just one accelerometer inside the body. Despite the cat-like appearance, the realistic tail movement is actually based on research on both cat and dog behavior. The idea of Kubo originated from one of Yuki Engineering's 20 employees in an internal competition about half a year ago. The designer had a cat, but since the apartment she moved into didn't allow pets, well, she had to leave her cat with her parents. This inspired her to come up with a lifelike pet substitute that would make her feel better whenever she thought of her cat. As not everyone has access to a therapy cat or dog for various reasons, be it cost, allergies, or the aforementioned apartment restrictions, this could be a thing for a lot of people. Kubo will be launching via a crowdfunding platform later this year for around $100, and it's expecting a June 2018 delivery. The final product will have a 8-hour battery life with USB charging, and still all that I can think of when I see this product is, what the? Thanks for watching your weekly tech update. If you have a story you think I should feature on the program, well, shoot me an email, djraymcneil@gmail.com. And of course, find us on Facebook, like and share if you would. Till next time, I'm Ray McNeil. Good night, world. Your weekly tech update brought to you by Holiday Home Care, Phillip Island, Victoria, Australia. It's your turn to relax.